The Dreamcast PSU was designed to supply all the components while not getting it too hot. Its original cooling solution seems to just have air coming through from the back, flowing around the optical drive on its way out. Presumably, the power supply would stay within its cooling range by just pumping out power to all of the parts. Obviously, I've removed the GD-ROM drive in mine, and as the drive uses power from the 12-volt output of the power supply, quite a lot of people in forums seem to worry that removing this part will cause a heat build-up. There are various things that people do to cool the system. You can remove a capacitor on the power supply, wedge a bunch of resistors in between some pins, or swap out the power supply completely for a newer, smaller unit which has no 12-volt component. Others say it really shouldn't be a problem as long as there is adequate cooling, and as I've already spent way too much on this project, this is the route I'm going to take. Now, I've already replaced the fan with a larger, quieter one, so the next step is to improve the airflow over the power supply components. I'm going to drill some holes in the wall next to the PSU and at the back on either side of the power cable. The fan sucks air through the system and will naturally start drawing cooler air over the hot bits on its way out, keeping the system cool. Also, I don't want to butcher my power supplies. At some point I'll be getting more games on disk and will need the drive to be able to rip them to my SD card. Now, this bit isn't particularly exciting, so in case you fall asleep I'm going to fast forward through it. All I'm doing is just drilling a couple of lines of holes on the side so that the air can be sucked through over the power supply, and then those two holes that go either side of the mains cable that plugs in the back. Thoroughly interesting, but not so interesting that you particularly want to sit through however long it was before I shortened it down to 5 times the speed. Anyway. There's nothing at all scientific about where I'm putting the holes, or I haven't really sort of looked up online to see if anybody else has done this and copied what they've done. I've just drilled holes where I figured air coming through the system would be a good thing. It may work, it may not. Two holes at the back on either side of the power supply, and this is where the air would flow down through. And here we are with the holes at the side, and you can see on the main unit when it's about to be closed where they all go. That's where the air will be sucked through. Now, there's no way of knowing how this has impacted the heat inside, as the Dreamcast has no internal heat sensors. However, I have an external heat sensor. So we can see from this that the near left hand side is hitting high 20s. That's where the power supply is, but all the heat seems to be being drawn through to the near right, where of course the exhaust fan is as well, and that's hitting the low 30s. It's not hot when you put your hand next to it, but anyway, that all seems to be working fine. Right, I think that's enough for now. Bye bye!